Hi guys, welcome to Easy Peasy Gardening. I'm your gardener friend Ruchi, and today we are going to talk about composting. So I have been making compost from the kitchen scraps for the past 5 to 6 years. So I have a big bin behind my garage, a little bit in the corner far away where I can just dump everything and it doesn't affect my entrance or anything. And I keep dumping the kitchen scraps and some other material in it and keep it covered, water it, and probably in 8 to 9 months I get good compost out of it. And that's what I use in all my containers. I don't buy fertilizer from the stores. I just use my own compost. But I can understand that many of you may not have the liberty of having a big bin in a far away corner of your house. So I thought I'll show you how to make compost in a small container. So that's what we are going to do today. Here is my compost bin. So I put all my kitchen scrap in this, and I also put all the cardboards. Like you can see, there's a pile of cardboards there because you need that too. So the kitchen scrap that provides nitrogen in the compost. The cardboards, they provide carbon, and both are required for a good compost. And in this area, I have a chicken wire mesh. I have made a cage here, and in this I put all the leaves. Now the leaves, they are broken down by fungus. The kitchen scrap, that is broken down by bacteria. So the leaves, they take longer time to convert into compost, but I just put all the leaves in here and slowly they'll get composted. So the leaves compost, they provide you a lot of micronutrients, and the reason is that these leaves come from trees, and trees have deep roots. They go down and they absorb micronutrients from the soil, and that's what the leaves get. So when you break down the leaves in the compost, you get all those micronutrients in here. So here I have this container and I'm going to use this for composting. One thing you have to remember is that you can put all the kitchen scraps, but make sure that the kitchen scrap is chopped up nicely, because if you put big chunks, then it will take long time. So that's why my other bin where I put all my kitchen scrap, it takes 9 months, 8 months, or even 1 year, because I don't chop up my things. I just put everything in there and let it compost slowly. But for a small container like this, it is better if you chop them up. So first of all, it should have some holes at the bottom, so that when you put some water in it, it should have a way to get out, and also there will be some air circulation. So at the bottom I'll put some dry leaves. So for compost, you need to put equal amount of carbon and nitrogen. So all the green stuff, vegetables and all, that produces nitrogen, and all these dry leaves or paper, paper towel or whatever, that is carbon. So you have to put equal amount of those. So at the bottom I have put the dry leaves. Now on top of this, I'm going to put some compost that's already in the process. So this is just to get started, so that there are some microbes in there when you to work on your kitchen scrap. And here is my kitchen scrap that I have been collecting. So you will notice that most of the kitchen scrap I have chopped it up. And whatever paper towels and all, some papers here and there, those are fine too. Oh, I don't think I want to put this coffee container in this. This is some sail paper or whatever. This provides carbon to your compost. So it is still not enough, I will need more stuff in it, but that's fine. I'll keep on adding to it. Now once you have done this, then you want to put, if you have access to, like for example, in your garden, if you see some earthworms, it is a good idea to put some earthworms in it, because they will eat all this stuff, dead organic stuff, and produce a beautiful fertilizer. There is one earthworm I found. There is another one. You can see. Anyways, I didn't find too many, but I'm sure I'll find some more. So now I'm going to just add a little bit more of the soil, so that this compost gets some microbes to get decomposed. So we'll wait for this to fill up, and then we'll cover it with some more leaves and some more compost, and leave it in the garden covered. You want this thing decomposes best when it stays warm and moist, because that's where all the microbes they flourish. If it is too dry, then they'll not survive. So our container is quite full, but as I'm adding more stuff, it's been 2 days. It is also settling down. So as I said before, that you have to have equal amount of carbon and nitrogen. So most of the stuff so far inside has been kitchen scrap. And so I have this egg carton, and so this is all carbon basically. So I could actually just break this and put it in and wet it, and it will just dissolve. So this will add a lot of carbon to the mix, because you don't want all nitrogen, then it's not balanced. Then I have some more kitchen scrap that I can put on top, so then this egg carton will become wet and it will be dissolved. Yeah. So just make sure that you don't put any meat in this, bones or any meat scrap, because then it attracts other animals, and you don't want that, and they don't take a long time to break in any case. So just keep it to fruits and vegetables and paper tissues and some paper products. That's about it. And just make sure that it stays moist, otherwise all the microbes or the earthworms, they'll die. And also it has to stay warm for it to work. If it is too cold, then again the microbes don't work very well. They require humid and warm conditions. So I've put it here where it gets about 2 hours of direct sunlight and indirect sunlight the whole day. And make sure you cover it, because if you leave it open, first of all, it doesn't look nice if you have it out in the open. And also when the sun comes up, it will dry up, and you don't want that, and all the worms and everything, they may die. So you just want to cover it up. Maybe leave some portion open so that there is some air circulation, but don't leave it completely open. So it's been about a month, and this container has all my kitchen scrap and lot of paper also. So and as you can see that it is settling down. So I want to stir it up a little bit because that helps in the composting process. So you have to be careful. Look at this, you know, there are worms, so you have to be gentle. Don't try to use an instrument which will harm them. So maybe I want to just toss it a little bit. Look at this, you know, things are decomposing a little bit. See, so many worms, and I'll put a few worms in there, you know, 2, 3, and they multiply. And it's been raining, so it's just wet, so which is good. It should be wet and warm. It's not that warm right now, but that's okay. It may take a little longer when it is not wet, but that's fine. So I think this is fine. You know, this much of stirring is fine. Now I've created some holes in it so that worms can move around. I mean, they can move around in any case, but it's just good to stir it up. And some of the paper has gone down to decompose. So I'm going to leave it again covered and keep you posted. It's been about 3 months, and look at this. It has reduced so much in volume and it is decomposing just fine. And look at all these plants coming up, you know, seedlings starting from the kitchen scrap. If you look at this now, it looks almost ready. You know, most of the material, it has broken up and it's almost looks like, you know, soil. It still has, you know, some things that still need to break up, but it's pretty much ready. So it's been 6 months that we started this compost container. And if you look at this now, it is mostly soil, and I can see a few eggshells that are there which have not decomposed, but other than that everything is decomposed. So look at this. It's mostly decomposed. And main thing is that when you smell it or when you turn it, you can smell it, and it smells like, you know, fresh smell in the forest. So when you go in a forest and if it has rained or it is wet, you know, that fresh smell, that's what you smell in here. So which means that this is ready and this is good compost. And you know, if you think that, oh, they have all these you know, some twigs or something which have not decomposed, if you really want it like very fine soil, you can just take a wire mesh and let it go through it, and all the, you know, big chunks will be remaining on the top, and you can use the fine compost. But other than that, this is like completely ready. So if you look at it, it was full till the top, and it's less than third of the material left, because, you know, at the bottom this container is smaller in any case. So in depth it has gone 1/3. So, you know, in reality it is probably 1/4 of the material left. So you started with full container, and this is how much you got in 6 months. And you know, sometimes you will see people telling you that you can just convert your kitchen scrap into compost in 1 month. That's just not possible. So granted, you know, I started this in November, in the middle of the winters, or, you know, late fall. But it was constantly in an area where it used to get a lot of sun and it was wet all the time, and it took 6 months. So if you started it in summers and you kept it wet, maybe it will be done in 4 or 5 months, not less than that. So don't think that you can have the compost ready in 1 month. Even if you took your kitchen scrap and ran it through blender or something so that it is like completely chopped, finely chopped, and then put it, it will take you a few months. And in any case, you're not going to do that. That's too much effort. You just want to throw in your kitchen scraps in a container, and the compost should be ready. So it is pretty straightforward. You take a container, you put, it should have good drainage at the bottom. You put all the kitchen scrap in there, mostly vegetables, and then you should also put some paper or your tissues or whatever you can put in there. So pretty much like half and half. And because paper provides it, paper or dry leaves, they provide carbon, and the kitchen scrap that provides other nutrients. So and then you cover it up and keep it moist, because otherwise it will not decompose. I added a few earthworms in there, so it's just faster, because they'll start eating the organic material right away. And you keep on turning it, like every 15 days or something like that, and slowly it will turn into compost that you can use for your plants. So I hope this video was useful to you. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and family, and let us know how you like it. Thanks. Bye.